You go in there, you walk in there, and you get that job. Okay? Yeah, whatever, don't use that. Use the first one. Hey again, welcome back to another video of All Things Cheric. Whether you're new here or you're just passing by, I am Cheric. I'm a lifestyle blogger and content creator. You can find more about me over at notjustaprettyface.com, and that is pretty with an I. Here on my channel, I share ways I multiply my streams of income using social media. I share ways I grow my online presence, and I am a mother first. So from time to time, I share videos about motherly advice and motherly experiences. No, I do not have all the answers, but I do hope that my experiences can inspire you. So if all of that sounds like something that you may be interested in and you want to see more of, definitely subscribe to my channel. Also click the bell notification so each time I upload, you'll be notified. I am overly excited about today's video. As you can see from the title, today I'll be sharing do's and don'ts of job interviews. I see so many millennials today that just don't know how to interview. I've sat on the side of my manager as she interviewed, helping her select candidates. I've screened resumes, I've even conducted interviews, and I've been on many interviews. I'm not saying that I get every job that I have interviewed on, but I will say that interviewing is one of my strong points. I'm not sure what it is, but in today's world, I think a lot of millennials just need retouching when it comes to job interview etiquette, because right now, y'all, we ain't looking too good. So you definitely want to watch this video to the very end, so the next time you go on a job interview, you'll go with ease, you'll go with confidence, and best of all, you'll get that phone call saying, we want to offer you the position. If you were asked, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I can always remember a lot of my friends coming to me asking me to tweak their resume, give them resume tips, just give them interview tips, asking me how did I get this job, how did I get that job. Now, I don't condone job hopping, so I don't want to misrepresent, but I will say that if you have a job and it just stresses you out, you just get anxiety going to this job every day, you find yourself driving to work and you just don't want to go in. If you've reached that level with your job, I think it's time to let it go. It's time to find a new one. Y'all, we spend more time at work than we do at home. Just remember that. So as long as you are at work, work should be a nice uplifting environment. And I know sometimes it's not always that way, but you should at least strive to try to get better. Before we get into this video, make sure you take the time to come visit me over at notjustaprettyface.com. Thank you for just messing up my video. Alright, so let's talk about the do's first. Things that you should be doing either before your interview or during your interview. Always take a copy of your resume. Even though the employer should have it already, obviously that's the reason that they called you to set up the interview, you should still take a copy of your resume. Your resume shouldn't be folded up like you see here. You know, it shouldn't be all crinkled up. It should just be a nice, smooth piece of paper. You can put it in a page protector, a document holder, put it in a manila folder. Just make sure you take your resume. It's always best to be a step ahead, and again, it makes you look good. You already get a check mark next to your name because you are prepared. You're showing signs that you know how to be prepared. Before you go into an interview, you have a notepad, something very similar to this, and then you have a pen. There has been times I went into interviews and I didn't have not one single thing written down in here. And I may sit down and I might act like I'm writing during the interview, but I'm not. Okay. I'm not saying that that's what you should do. But what I suggest is sitting outside in your car about 15 or 20 minutes before it's time to go inside and write down questions. Write down questions that you want to ask at the end of the interview.
Do you have any questions for us?
Asking questions always gives you a check mark next to your name. Asking questions make you stand out, and employers like when you ask questions. One of the questions I usually ask during my interview, I can remember, I would say, if you had to use 3 describe the person for this role, tell me what would they be. Y'all, those managers, those hiring managers, those HR managers, whoever, they eat that up. They just love it. So I know sometimes you can't think of certain questions to ask during the interview. So what I did was I created a free list of questions that you can ask during your interview. So make sure you check out that. You just click on the link and it'll take you straight to a download where you can go ahead and print your own interview questions and take those with you and get that job. Alright, so the next thing that you should do is dress appropriately. I cannot tell y'all how many times I've seen people come into the office to interview and they'll have on the smallest skirt or the smallest or the tightest dress that they could find. I mean, they look like they're going to a club. The highest heels they could find. Not job appropriate at all. You shouldn't have on anything low cut. Your girlfriend shouldn't be hanging out. And if you are going to wear a skirt or a dress or shorts, they need to be as long as your knees. Do you remember when we were in school and they would tell you to put your hands by your side, and if your skirt or your skirt or whatever didn't pass your fingertips, then it was too short. Use that when you're going on a job interview. Okay, so this one is very much so swept under the rug. You should definitely do your research about a company. Whatever job interview you're going to, most companies nowadays have websites. So all you need to do is go to the website, visit the services offered page, the history page, the about our company page, take notes, read over everything, look at pictures of workers that are already employed there. Just get as much knowledge as you can about the company, so whenever you go to interview, you can just mention something that you may have read online. And again, it just shows them that you're prepared and that you do your research. For example, I can remember one time I went to an interview and I got online and I read that the doctor was from North Carolina. Okay, well, my father is from North Carolina too. So I can't remember exactly what I said, but I know during the interview I just made small talk about North Carolina and he just ate it up. He loved it. He started talking about himself, and y'all, when I tell you, people love to talk about themselves, he loved it. So again, that's just one of those things that make you stand out. Okay, so the very last do that you should be doing is send a thank you card. If you have an email address, sending a thank you email would be just as good. But if you don't have access to an email address, make sure you send a thank you card. You can go to the Dollar Tree, you can go to Dollar General, you can go to Family Dollar, wherever, get a pack of thank you cards. When you know that you're in an interview phase, get a pack of thank you cards, and each and every time you leave an interview, address the thank you card to whomever conducted the interview, whether it be the hiring manager, the HR person, or whomever. Just make sure you send a thank you card. That really, really makes you stand out. And even if you don't get the job, most employers will still hold on to the thank you card. They'll put it in your file. You never know. Another thing I see a lot of millennials do is not answer the phone. You should be answering your phone. If you are in the midst of job searching, make sure you go ahead and answer your phone. I can remember one time we were looking to hire a medical assistant. My manager would call and call and call and call, and so many people that submitted resumes, they just didn't answer the phone. And then you had a couple of people who did answer the phone. Whenever they answered the phone, they were like, who this? Or, you know, have sleep answering the phone. If you know that you are in the midst of a job hunt, answer your phone, answer it professionally, answer it like you already know you got the job. Okay, now it's time to get into the things that you should not do during an interview. I can always remember my daddy used to tell me, if you show up on time, you're late. So remember that when going to a job interview. If your job interview starts at 8 o'clock, don't show up at 8:05. Don't even show up at 8 o'clock. Show up at about 7:45 or even 7:50. I can remember a couple of interviews that we had. They would come in, they would be late. I can remember this one person in particular, her interview was phenomenal. She aced her interview. But at the end of the interview, my manager said, I can't hire her because she was late to the interview. Not only that, when she came inside, she didn't even acknowledge the fact that she was late. It's almost like she didn't know she was late, or she didn't think she had to say something about it. I don't know. But she ended up not getting the job, not because her interview wasn't good, but because she was late. Chewing gum during your interview. Please do not chew gum during an interview. I can answer the phone real good. And I'm real nice to people. Sometimes you may think that you want to pop a piece of gum in your mouth because, I don't know, maybe you just had a long night and your breath may not smell too good, or whatever the case may be. So you just pop a piece of gum in your mouth. You may not think anything of it, but when you go inside the interview and you're just chomping, it just looks disgusting. And it also is unprofessional, and it's just classless, and it's just tacky. So make sure you spit the gum out before you go into the interview. So this one is one that I had to learn, and that's not talk negatively about your current job. Truth of the matter is, employers just don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear the negative talk, and it leaves a bad taste in their mouth. And it also reflects on you in not so much of a good way. So make sure you leave all of that at the door. Just say you want to change of environment. That's it, and leave it there. Thirdest thing you don't want to do in an interview is talk too much and bring all of your problems to the interview. So, tell me a little bit about yourself. Well, my name is Tasha, but they call me Skeet Skeet. That's my nickname. My girls call me that all the time, especially when we go out and party. We went out and partied last night, and my daddy got so mad. Still live with my daddy. My daddy is crazy. When I tell you, he's just so much going on in my house right now. My dog just died, and then I tried taking him to the vet, and the vet didn't want to take him. And then we found snake pits in our backyard, and I didn't know whether to chop the heads off or chop the tails off. I like taking shots. I really like taking shots. I like shots of tequila. Employers do not want to hear all of your problems. Remember, first impression is the lasting, and they may think that you are the type of person to bring all of these issues, all of this drama, all these problems at work, and a lot of people do that nowadays. So just make sure you are mindful about the things that you share, and don't say too much. Only give information that is asked from you.
You might be like, hold on, she got too much going on. So make sure you leave your problems in the car with your gum, okay?
So I saved this one for last because I think this is so important, and I also think that it will make or break you getting this job. You should not ask for pay. On the very first interview, do not ask for pay. Unless the employer opens that door, then by means, you go ahead and walk in. But if they don't start that conversation, you don't start that conversation. Usually pay is something that's discussed when the employer is interested in you, and if they show interest in you, they will call you to discuss pay. And sometimes, yeah, it sucks, but you don't even know what the position will offer you until the end. That's just kind of how it works. Alright, so that is all for today's video. Again, the next interview that you go on, y'all, I really hope that you have the confidence and that you are so prepared for that interview. You go in there, you walk in there, and you get that job, okay? So until the next video, I'll see y'all later. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Come leave me a comment or just say hello, say hey, I saw your YouTube video. Don't forget, if you want that list of questions that you can ask during your interview, I'll have the link in the description below for that. And until next time, I'll see y'all later. Bye bye.